Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I thought we would check in on my Apple IIGS. Normally you see that computer right behind me here, and I was just watching a video that LGR did as I was having my lunch, and I said, you know what, I gotta do a little preventative maintenance on this thing before something really bad happens to it. There is a ticking time bomb inside of this computer. It's a little battery that powers the clock, and those batteries are soldered onto the motherboard, and they are all leaking as time goes on, and it can severely damage, if not disable, your Apple IIGS. So I want to snip out my battery today, which is what I'm going to do. Now, I did record a video a number of years ago showing you this computer in operation. In the course of creating that video, the power supply on this blew its REFA cap, which is a very common problem with these Apple IIGSs. So not only did we have that happen midstream in the video, I was also able to make a Apple IIGS Yule log video of it smoking out the back, and I haven't yet replaced that power supply. So if you want to see this computer in action, definitely check out that video. But here's the motherboard. It's a little bit dusty. Thankfully, though, I'll give you the overhead view. The battery here appears as though it hasn't started leaking yet, so we are getting to it at the exact right time. And what I thought I would do briefly, and I've covered this in the other video, is just show you some of the things that I have done to upgrade this machine over the years. So around 2004 or so, I took this out of my mom's basement and brought it to my place and started doing some upgrades on it. And back then, you could get things relatively inexpensively. Now, the first thing I did when I started modernizing my IIGS was get more RAM for it. So my original one, which I had bought secondhand as a kid from a retired guy in town, had 1 megabyte of RAM, which was actually not bad for its time. But when I started playing around with more stuff in the modern era, I said I need more RAM. So I went on eBay and found a 4 megabyte RAM card here. And it was already populated, so I didn't have to go find the chips separately. But back in the day, you would buy the RAM card and then have to source the RAM chips. And 4 megabytes back in the late 80s would have cost you quite a bit to get upgraded to. The other card that I have here, I'll show you the overhead because I can't easily get at it at the moment, is this one here. This is a modern card. It's called the Uthernet card. And as its name suggests, this provides Ethernet connectivity for your Apple IIe or IIGS. And I think actually the original Apple II works with this also. You can't do much on the internet with this. There are some FTP clients and some other telnet software and whatnot available, but it's kind of nice to be able to get this on the network and use it in a somewhat modern way, especially for accessing telnet or moving files more efficiently back and forth. This next card I definitely cannot take out at the moment just because it is tied in with the system processor, but this is a Transwarp GS, and LGR's video had this card on his as well. However, mine, and I got a great deal on this when I bought it on eBay a number of years ago, mine was upgraded. So this card has been overclocked and re-engineered to deliver 12 megahertz of performance when it's going full speed. So that was a major find right there, and I saved a lot of money because these modified cards that work are very expensive. This is a card that sits in slot 3 here, but it also replaces the processor. So you have a little ribbon cable that goes on to where the original IIGS processor was located. And this has been working great when the power supply works. So I was very happy to find that because, you know, we're so used to computers running at a certain speed, and this thing was feeling really sluggish at its default 2.8 megahertz. So this really gives it a nice zippy upgrade, and it almost feels like you're running an emulator when you're poking around in some of the IIGS software. This last card here that I have installed at the moment, if I can pull it out here, is the CFFA 3000. This is a card that will convert compact flash and USB drives into hard drives for Apple II computers. I actually have 2 of these. I've got one in my IIe over there and one here in the IIGS. This is such a great device because you can basically get a hard drive on just a compact flash card, and it can read disk images just like an emulator does. So you can very easily move files from a computer, a PC computer, a current modern one, back over to this one just by swapping USB sticks in and out. You can also image floppy disks to disk images with the card as well. So it's got a lot of utility for the types of things that I do. I think it was in slot 2 before, but I'll get to that later when we fix the power supply. So yeah, it's a great computer. I'm really hoping to get this thing fixed up again. I got to blow some air here to get the dust out. And that video that LGR did just really reminded me that I've got to get going on this battery. So why don't we go ahead and snip out the battery here, and then hopefully I'll meet somebody that knows how to fix the reefa caps on these computers so I can get this thing back up and running again. And thankfully, I've got nothing leaking here, which is really fortunate. I'll give you a closer look at this battery here. So this is a Varta 3-volt lithium battery. This was installed in this computer probably back in 1987 or 1986. It was still working the last time I booted it up, maintaining the system settings and, of course, the time and date. So now, until I replace this battery with something else, every time I boot it up, I'll have to redo the settings on it. But it's much better to do that than deal with a leaking battery. And I'm very fortunate that this is not leaking. So we have dodged the time bomb that plagues all of these Apple IIGSs. So we're going to get this thing booted back up again. I'll probably do a revised version of the video I did 5 years ago. I'm not too crazy about it at this point, but it's definitely something to check out if you wanted to see this machine in action. There is also a Mr. Core on the way for the Apple IIGS as well. So I think we're going to start seeing some more love for this classic machine. And in the meantime, it will be back in its spot for future videos. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Jim Tanis and Tom Albrecht, Hot Sauce and Video Games and Eric's Variety Channel, Brian Parker and Frank Goldman, Amda Brown and Matt Zagaya, and Chris Allegretta. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.